What you might not know about the Property Brothers is that, prior to their HGTV fame, Drew Scott and Jonathan Scott's careers looked different. However, they were motivated to be crafty even as kids. When they were kids, they started a business decorating hangers. Speaking to Glamour in 2012, the brothers discussed how the business came to fruition. "We turned 7 and our dad said we had to get a job. We were looking at the want ads, but our very first job was a company we started called GM Enterprises. It was for John, Andrew, Mom, and we made those hangers that weave nylon around it, and there's a little rose on it." Per realtor, Jonathan and Drew earned $15,000 from their JM Enterprises business, thanks to a wholesaler purchasing hangers to sell overseas. They told Glamour, "She bought them by the crates." In a 2024 Today interview, the brothers talked more about that experience. "It got us hooked on that idea of creating something from nothing," Drew said. "We found out very early on we loved to perform. Whatever else we would do, we would put on an air of confidence before we even knew what we were doing." That passion for performing likely helped them with their on-camera work, but it seemed to come in handy beforehand with some of their other jobs. After the JM Enterprises success, their father, Jim Scott, paid Jonathan Scott and Drew Scott to help work on his own renovation projects. Later on, Jonathan and Drew worked as professional clowns. Some gigs with a lot less clowning around included when the brothers were busboys at the Red Robin restaurant chain in Mall Cops. They were just college-aged when they officially entered the world of house flipping. They bought a $200,000 house with $250 down payment and flipped it, earning a $50,000 profit when they sold it. "We thought this was something." While still in college, the brothers told Glamour, a major reason they started doing their work on houses was to make money while they pursued creative passions. Acting was something they were both interested in. However, Jonathan was also an accomplished illusionist and had a knack for figuring out how magic tricks were done and creating his own. In their Glamour interview, Jonathan said he thought that contributed to the success of the Property Brothers show. "It's our charisma with each other and with the audience," Jonathan said. "We've always been great storytellers." The brothers have also done stand-up comedy and sketch comedy, which you might be able to tell from Property Brothers bloopers that make us love them even more. They did have some acting gigs, even briefly appearing on shows with commercial success. For Drew it was Smallville, and for Jonathan it was The X-Files. Although renovation and real estate eventually became their main focus, another career Jonathan Scott and Drew Scott had was working for an airline called WestJet. Jonathan's position was part of the in-flight social club. Occasionally able to work with Drew, the flight attendant, they would entertain passengers. When they left those jobs due to their success with their flips, Drew was approached about using his real estate agent skills on a reality TV show. "I didn't really want to host, but we could probably make a brand out of it," Drew told Today. "And so we started to formulate a plan of what this could look like to build a brand." Drew threw out a show idea for himself and Jonathan when auditioning for the ill-fated Realtor Idol reality show, which never got off the ground. After a production company based in their home country of Canada asked the Scott twins to create a video showing their skills, HGTV turned them down. However, their TV dreams came true when Canada's Know You network brought Property Brothers to life. It was a smashing success, and when HGTV started airing it too, it was wildly successful as well. So they repurchased the whole first season, and the rest is history. Jonathan said in their Today interview, "At some point, most of us will want to give our homes at least a little bit of a facelift. But just like Kris Jenner wouldn't take a scalpel and some yarn to her own hairline, there are certain home improvement projects that you absolutely shouldn't do yourself, especially if you're a beginner." HGTV stars Drew Scott and Jonathan Scott, two of the absolute best in the business when it comes to home design, remodels and repairs, and just being charming. They've seen and fixed just about it all, and they're not hesitant about sharing their secrets about the home updates and repairs you can do yourself. The first step to a DIY project at home: hop online. I love that technology is making it easier for people who want to handle things at home. Jonathan tells Parade, because if you're calling in a professional trade every single time, there's a little thing, it can really add up. There's a lot of stuff that you can handle at home yourself. There are a ton of tutorials for design ideas and DIY projects, including on the Scott Brothers website, drewonjonathan.com, as well as on YouTube. We love the super wholesome channel Dad, How Do I? For basic repairs and installations. I implore everyone to hop online. We even have at drewonjonathan.com a ton of editorial that is just meant to educate people on how they can bring that aesthetic on a dime. That's our goal, to inspire people to love where they live, and that comes through the content we create, that comes through the products we manufacture. All of this stuff is to try and help people get their home to work harder for them. The next step: know your limits and what not to attempt yourself, because if done incorrectly, you may not only severely damage your property, you can also seriously injure yourself. There are a lot of things you can learn a lot online nowadays, but just be realistic, Drew advises. I'd say when it comes to electrical, plumbing, roofing, big things like that, leave it to a professional. Some of the easiest and most rewarding DIY projects are outside, and an inviting outdoor space, whether it's in your front yard for curb appeal or a mini private herb garden on your apartment balcony, can really make you love your space more than you ever imagined. And the best part? It's not hard to make your yard or green spaces gorgeous. I think there's a lot of value in the garden, Drew says. For people who want to have a beautiful outdoor, entertaining space, potting a bunch of plants, instead of having to dig it into the garden or build gigantic garden boxes, is one way to do it cost-effectively and easily.